What's up, everybody? Ramey here, and today I am talking about the Rep GHD. I believe this is the smallest full-size GHD that you can buy. I'm going to show you the size. I want to talk about the features, what I like, what I don't like, who I think this is for. I'll tell you my review of the product. I've had this for a long time now. I used to have the Rogue Echo GHD, which I replaced with this. I did a video about that already. I'll talk about whether I think having a GHD is nice in a home gym. So what do you even have a GHD? Why do I even have a GHD? Before I even show this device, what do you have a GHD for? You have a GHD for hyperextensions, GHD abs, glute ham raises, which is the real reason to have them, which work with hamstrings. They are a posterior chain exercise, and obviously your abs too. But they're for posterior chain with glute ham raises and hyperextensions. You can also do different things with a GHD. Like I could go reverse on the GHD and do like a body weight reverse hyper type thing. Or I have a reverse hyper, but you can do things like that with it. But you can do multiple exercises, but the main things are glute ham raises, hyperextensions, and abs. And that's basically what I use it for. So I'll talk about how it works for those things. First thing, let's take a look at this device. So while I'm showing you guys what this looks like, let me do some measurements so I can give you the exact size of it. All right. So you guys are taking a look at the machine all in close up. So first let me give you the specs. Length of the machine is about like 63 and a half, 64 inches. Width is roughly 32 inches. So 63 by 32 by roughly 44 inches in height, 44 inches in height. So that is the size of the machine. As you can see, if you look on Rep's website, now that you've taken a look at the actual device up close, if you look at Rep's website, they have different dimensions. For some odd reason, every product I've ever ordered from Rep is listed incorrectly, the size on their website, the dimensions, even like their cross members. Like they say they're 30 inches, they're really 30 and a half inches. Like just everything is incorrect on their website for some odd reason. And why, I don't know, but it is. So this, I just gave you the dimensions. So that's the dimensions of this. It's incorrect on their website, which makes it even smaller than what's on their website. It's literally the smallest full-size GHD I could find. I'm sure someone's gonna point out some smaller one, but like this is smaller. Like it is really small. And I'll talk about some of the disadvantages of that too. But what I've done on this is I've actually reversed the band pegs, as you saw when I did my little walkthrough of it. I reversed the band pegs, which makes it another like 4.5 inches even smaller, which is why mine's only the size that it is. There's no disadvantage to reversing those band pegs, so yeah, it is what it is. All right, the GHD itself, as far as features, like it does have handles, so when I'm on it, I can pick myself up or put myself down with the handles. It does have a nice back foot plate. The back foot plate is angled. I'm not sure it matters if that's angled or straight. I have never noticed a disadvantage or advantage, anything like that. It does have a foot plate to step up on, which I will say is nice, but not necessary. I would be okay standing just directly on it as it is. I actually have this placed right next to my squat mat, so I almost don't really need the foot plate at all. As far as sizing goes of this thing, because it has all the normal features of a GHD, like it literally has all the features. Very easy to get into, feels good when I do it. It is very adjustable side to side. It's got a lot of adjustment points, and same with up and down. It's got a lot of adjustment points up and down. As far as the side-to-side adjustment points go, it's got a number of adjustment points. Literally about 13 inches of forward-backward motion adjustment points on this. 13 inches up and down. Oh, make sure I don't pull it off. It's got at least a minimum of about 9 inches of up and down adjustment point. So it's got quite a bit of room to go up and down. Now let's talk about sizing. So what does that mean? Like I'd say it goes back 12 inches. That's based on how big you are and the exercise you're gonna do. So when I am doing abs or hyperextensions, I'm much further back than when I'm doing GHRs. So it's just a different point on the device. Now I'm personally about 5'11 to, I'm 5'11 3/4, so I'm technically, I guess if I round up 6 feet. It is 100% I fall in the smack middle of the settings on this device. So if I was much smaller, I think it would be okay, and if I was much taller, I think like size-wise, like height, most people are gonna be just fine on this device. Now, when we get to weight, little different story. So I weigh about 175 pounds, which puts me probably like average man weight around there. My BMI is about like 23 point something. My Garmin is telling me I should be lighter based on my BMI. So how does this feel when I'm actually using it? So here's the thing. So I have used a number of different GHDs in the past. As I said, I probably used like 20 different GHDs in my lifetime. I would rank this in the not as stable realm versus some of the others. So let me talk about that. So just when I'm doing things like a GHR, I do feel like, maybe it's all in my head, but I do just feel like this is not as, it just doesn't feel as strong as, say, the Rogue one that I've used before. The Rogue, I guess, is the Abram that I've used in the past. What does that mean? I don't think that means anything for me. I think this device is very solid and well put together and well built. But if I would say 220 pounds, so that's a solid, 45 pounds more than me. So let's say 50 pounds more than me, like 225. I could see this device feeling a little shaky for you. Maybe someone that's bigger can come on and comment and kind of say like, no, it's fine. I'm like 230. This is fine for me. But I could see it. I think it would work. I think like it's going to work for that 250 pound guy, 230 pound guy. But I think if I was that size, I might upgrade to the beefier GHD than this one. I really think this one's made for like the sub 200 pound guy. This feels a little, even like the foot plaid, like no matter what I do, how much I tighten it, there's a little bit of wiggle there, regardless of what I do. You hear that? That's not a big deal when I'm using the device, but I could just see as you weigh more and more, you're gonna constantly strain that, and I think you just need a little beefier of a machine. I think for those guys, 200 pounds, like you're good. This is gonna be great. Given the price of this thing, sub $500, you really can't beat the price for what you get. All right, so let's talk about some more things. So that's my little shtick about like this, the stability of this and the weight. Like I think with that small size, since this is the smallest, as I said, like the smallest GHD I could find, full size GHD I could find, I think you kind of pay for that a little bit in some of the stability versus the larger units. So yeah, so I do think there's a trade-off there. I have heard online that you can stand this up vertically, and I actually saw a picture of someone doing that. So I tried it, and it actually doesn't really work too well. This does have wheels on it, so you can easily move it around, but let me show you guys what happens when you stand this up vertically, and let me put it on a flat surface. So I stand it up vertically, which you can do. So it does, I shouldn't say it doesn't do it. It's just not great. So I can do it, and it would actually be really good if it stayed like this. The problem is because of unless I put like, notice how, boom, it goes back. Now let me even show you in the video a little more. I'll show you guys what I mean, and I'll pull the video up. But if it stayed stable like this, it wouldn't be so bad. And I could put a weight on it to keep it like this, but it falls back on the handle, and it's actually a little, it is not stable at all. And really, like, I'm not even, how much space am I saving by standing it up vertically? Let me take a look. 47 inches. So what am I saving? 13 inches. Let me just show you guys here what it looks like standing up vertically. I mean, look at the front. Like, it's totally not weighted. Like, I would need to put a plate right here so that it actually stays down, because what it's doing is it's top heavy. It's falling down onto the back panel, which I don't even want pressure. Like, now I'm putting pressure on these knobs and stuff by it falling back like that. So I would have to put some kind of like sandbag plate, somehow hold this down to keep it standing vertically. And look at this. It is so not stable at all. I mean, it wants to fall and tip right over. So I've seen online that this can be vertical. It absolutely cannot. I think that's a terrible idea for this device. I do not think this machine is made to be vertical at all. It's just not. But it does wheel around super easy. It is very easy to move around. So yeah, that's kind of my review. So let me get to the should you buy this, who is this for person. So you have the dimensions, which I think are super important when buying something like this. Would I buy this now with things like the Freak Athlete out and things like that? So let me talk about that. And who do I think this is for? So first of all, the question is a GHD for your home gym? I think a GHD is great for a home gym. I freaking love them. Some people might prefer, like, so I think the big reason you get a GHD are for the hyperextensions and the GHRs. Abs to a lesser extent, but if someone's really into CrossFit, they want the GHD abs. Okay, I get that, but I can just use an ab mat or anything for abs pretty easily. But it's really like a posterior chain. The hyperextensions and the GHRs. So I think for a home gym, a GHD is freaking awesome, but they do take up space. One of the reasons I love this one is the space. For a full-size GHD, it's a little smaller. Now that you have these options like the Freak Athlete out, which are like, you know, the combination GHD, it makes they seem like a really good option. But again, based on the stability of this, and this is like a full-size GHD, I think if you're a big guy, that Freak Athlete thing might even be less stable than a full-size than what this is. So like, I don't know how well they're going to hold up for GHRs and stuff like that, because I've never used that. I've never used that device, so it just looks a little not super beefy compared to a full-size GHD. And I like that beefiness on a full-size GHD. When I'm doing GHRs, man, it's scary being up there. Like, you want beefy. So what I like about those devices, it looks like they like fold up and are pretty like hidden compared to this. But I don't have one to compare, so like I can't really say which of those you should buy, but I do like having a full-size GHD. I do think this is on the smaller size of GHDs, but it does like take up room in my gym, so you have to kind of consider like what are you trying to accomplish in addition to like your cage and everything else. So I think if you're looking for a GHD, I do think this is on the inexpensive side. It's under $500, which is amazing for a full-size GHD to be under $400. I mean, it's way cheaper than most of the other full-size GHDs. It's way cheaper than like the Freak Athlete thing. It's way cheaper than a lot of them. So, and it's also smaller. It's got a small footprint. It doesn't stand vertically. I think size-wise, I think people who are short or tall, I think it's going to work for you. That's going to be based on your body. I can only compare it to myself, which is like 6-foot man works. I do think if you're on the heavier side, I'd probably get the beefier machine. Lighter side, this definitely works. Small size. I think it's good for a home gym. I love having a GHD. I'm one of those people, it's like you gotta have a GHD in your home gym. It's just necessary. I love hyperextensions. One of the disadvantages of a GHD like this is it doesn't do 45-degree hyperextensions, only the 180 or whatever people call it, 180 or 90 or 0, whatever they want to call it, but it doesn't do 30-degree. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Rep GHD. I really like it. I think it's a good buy at $480 or whatever it is on their website. You know, so I'm happy with it. I'm glad I didn't personally buy one of the beefier ones. I like the smaller size. But yeah, it's good. So that's my review of this GHD. Kind of see what it did, what it does, what I think of it. Rep does sell replacement pads. I actually have some when I was doing my do-it-yourself GHD. So there are, I'm just kind of pulling them out. There are replacement pads for this. That you can buy on Rep's website, which is nice. So if something goes wrong, you can always replace the pads super easily. But yeah, it works. So that's it. That's my review of the Rep GHD, y'all. Later.